dear time. All right. Hello, everybody. Took a while for YouTube to get rolling. There, we're better now. Hello, all. Good evening. All right, we got YouTube and Discord rocking and rolling. And next up, I am doing TikTok. Give me a quick second here. All right. TikTok. TikTok's ready, actually. Go live. And then we are good. All right. Flip that. All right. We are good. Excellent. Still good. There we go. The lighting's good now. All right. Woo-woo. Welcome. Hello, TikTokers. Thank you, Jess, for the gift. Hey, Tiger in Germany. Good to see you. Oh, boy. Jorge. Howdy, all. Oh, you're not getting sound? Oh, wait. Is YouTube getting sound? Because Discord isn't getting sound. That's interesting. Let me, I can check my settings. YouTube, you're getting sound. TikTok, I assume you're getting sound. All right. Let me check the settings on. Nope, that's correct. Let me check. Okay, YouTube here is okay. Discord's being evil. Let me check the settings on Discord. No, Scarlett input. I'm going to switch it. Let me go, okay, to the MacBook and now back to Scarlett, which is my main good microphone. All right, you're still not hearing it? No picture. All right, I'm sorry, guys. We're trying to get Discord working. I am going to, I'm going to leave and come back to Discord because Discord's being evil. Oh, all the little travails. So much fun. Well, TikTok's being good. YouTube's being good. Yeah, I've just closed and relaunched Discord. You know, Discord is fun. I really feel like Discord is like stuff that was made 20 years ago. And it just, things don't always work, Let's see. All right. Discord, I am back. Is it working? Let's see. Sorry, guys. We're having a little Discord problems. Now it's working. Okay, how bizarre. All right, you can hear me on Discord? Okay, weird. Yeah, I just had to leave and come back. Very strange. All right, welcome, everybody. Hello, all. Hello, TikTok. Thank you for joining us. YouTube, everybody. Kind of a crazy day. Hi, Genevieve. How are you? Kind of a crazy day. Yes, we do have a lot to say today. It's a bad news day. Our democracy got a little bit smaller today. The big news today is Trump's speech to the generals. There's a good side to it. I think he kind of screwed up. Very dangerous what he said. Very un-American, very fascist, very dictatorial. The good thing is he did a bad job. And I think he pissed off the generals, which is good. We'll get to that. Anyway, I'm John Aravosis. Welcome. This is my show. Anybody who is new, we talk about the latest news, mostly, well, a good chunk of American news because I'm in Washington, D.C., and that's my expertise. So I try to sort of help people around the world understand what's going on in Washington. I've worked in Washington for 40 years, almost. We usually talk a little bit about Ukraine. I don't really have a Ukraine update today because today is very Trump-centric because the Trump news is so big. And our government's about to shut down. That's the other thing. Midnight tonight, our government shuts down because of lack of funding. Democrats and Republicans are fighting. We're going to talk about that. I think I'll start with the government shutdown really quick. It's probably not a bad idea, and then we can move from there to Trump's crazy ass rant. Aravosis, that is how to pronounce my last name. Yep, that is it, Tracy. So let's start with that. The government shutdown. So midnight tonight, U.S. government shuts down. Basically, Congress didn't do it well. Congress, run by Republicans, didn't do its job passing the funding bills for the government. The U.S. government's fiscal year, the year, like for most of us, at least in America, our fiscal year for our taxes, for example, is January 1st to December 31st. It's like I think for most of us, fiscal year is kind of a weird idea because typically I think we think like that's your year, January to December. For the U.S. government, for whatever crazy reason, I've never actually Googled it, the fiscal year goes from October 1st to September 30th. So whenever Congress passes its budget, appropriations, it's basically its budget for the next year. it provides money for October 1st to September 30th, which is totally crazy. Again, you'd think the budget would be January 1st to December. It's not. So the budget runs out tonight. Congress, run by Republicans, did not pass a new budget. It's the Republicans in charge. The other problem is Republicans, have some dissent from their own people. They need Democrats to help them, even though the Republicans are in charge. And the Democrats are saying, well, look, you run the whole government. You've been running it like a fascist state. Donald Trump has been literally taking money away, or refusing to spend money that Congress has ordered him to spend, that he has to spend, but he's not doing it. So Democrats are saying, if you want our help, give us something. And by the way, what they're asking to be given isn't such a big deal. What Democrats are asking to be given is more affordable health care for Americans. That's it. Well, because unfortunately, the Republican Party is not very interested in helping regular Americans, certainly when it comes to health care. As you know, they just gutted Medicaid. They are also, they took like $1 trillion from like Medicaid and some other programs. They're also gutting, starting to attack Social Security. They've gotten rid of a ton of staff at Social Security. So now when you have problems, there was an article the other day, when seniors are having problems with Social Security, there's no one to call because Trump fired everybody. So your Social Security checks get screwed up. There's no one for you to call. Really screwed up. Well, the other thing the Republicans are doing, and again, healthcare, they just don't care. For years, the Republicans have been trying to kill the Affordable Care Act. It's the Obama era program called Obamacare. I call it Obamacare. Some people don't like that, but I don't care. And the Obamacare program basically, it did a lot of things. Democrats by the way, Democrats suck at messaging. I've always said this. Democrats should be selling every day about what Obamacare is and how good it is, right? They don't. Obamacare, for example, gave women in America free mammograms. Obamacare gave free preventive care, meaning free vaccinations for people across the board. Obamacare declared that nobody could be turned away from insurance simply because of who they are in terms of their illnesses. Previously in America, they would turn you away if you had asthma, if you had allergies. They would just say, no, we're not going to give you insurance. You're a sick person. Allergies. All of us have allergies. Now they can't do that anymore. Or they would say, well, okay, we'll give you insurance, but we're going to charge you twice as much because you have allergies. Now they can't do that because of Obamacare. So anyway, Obamacare is great. I use it. It's been great for me. It's been really great for me because my insurance sucked before Obamacare. Well, bottom line is some of the subsidies, Obamacare includes subsidies that helps people who don't make as much money pay, because in America, insurance is crazy. Health insurance, horrifically expensive. When you work at a job, meaning a business, the business helps pay your premiums. I work for myself, right? I do this for a living. I've always done this kind of stuff, internet politics, and I've got to pay the premium myself. Guess how much my insurance is every month? $1,500 is my insurance every month. It's criminal. It's absolutely criminal. And that's not even the best one. That's the second best one. There's 4 levels: shitty, good, and great. I got good. Good is $1,500 a month. Obamacare gives me some subsidies to help pay that, which is great. Very helpful. Well, many of the subsidies expire at the end of the year. Republicans are refusing to renew them because Republicans hate Obamacare. Republicans have tried to kill Obamacare. So they don't want to renew the subsidies. So Democrats have said, look, if you can't get you run Congress. You Republicans run the Senate. You run the House of Representatives. You have the majority. You have the presidency, and you have the courts. You have the Supreme Court. You run this town. If you can't get the votes from your own people to pass the budget, then you want our help. We want something in return. And what we want is we want you to put $1 trillion back into the budget that you took away from Trump's tax bill. Put the money back into Medicaid that you took out. Put the money into Obamacare to help pay for the ACA subsidies. But basically, Democrats are saying we want the money to go back to healthcare to help people. Oh, funny. Oh, shake head. Oh, it gives off coins. How fun was that, Cindy? Thank you. Sorry, there was a gift I hadn't noticed before that it told me to shake my head, which actually was very smart. The image said, shake your head. And I went like that and it threw coins everywhere. So that's what's up with Obamacare. Now, what is interesting to me with the government shutdown, Republicans are lying about it, but quite literally they're lying about it. And it says to me that they don't have a good argument. Republicans don't want to tell you that what Democrats are demanding is put some money back in Medicaid that Donald Trump and the Republicans killed. Put the money back in the Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act that Republicans are refusing to put. That's what Democrats are. Republicans are all claiming, and I kid you not, the money they're claiming, oh, hello, thank you. I appreciate that. They're claiming, and this is crazy, the money is for transgender people. And this anti-trans bigotry really has to stop. And this is really sick, and I'm sorry, but it really is pretty sick. And it is fascist again. There's no word for it. There's really no other word for it. Donald Trump has decided to go on basically a jihad against transgender people and use them as a scapegoat for everything. Frankly, like the Germans did in the 1930s and other fascist governments did, where they take a part of the population and they demonize them in order to rally the people at home against the enemy. Trump has decided that transgender people are the enemy. And he's claiming literally that Democrats are trying to, do something trans. And it's like, okay, no. The other thing they're claiming that's a lie, again, the bill literally does what I just told you. It puts money back into Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, healthcare. The other thing they're saying is, it's $1 trillion. Democrats want to spend 1.5 trillion. It's $1 trillion. Democrats want to spend 1.5 trillion to give healthcare to illegal aliens. Again, it is illegal under U.S. law to provide government health care to people who are here illegally. It is banned under U.S. law. So they can't do it. So none of the money is going for illegal aliens because it's illegal. It literally is illegal. Okay. Medicare? No. Medicaid? No. Obamacare? No. None of it can go to illegal people who are here illegally. And what fascinates me is that J.D. Vance, the Speaker of the House, Donald Trump, they're all repeating this. And the problem is Democrats don't message well, because what this suggests is Republicans are terrified of the truth. If Republicans are terrified that if voters find out that what Republicans are doing in shutting down the government, they don't want to put more money back into Medicaid. And by the way, Medicaid, it helps a lot of poor people. Guess where a ton of those poor people are? They're Republicans. And that's the thing, okay? And yes, they want to put the money back into Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act. Yeah. Both of them ban money going to illegal people who are here illegally. Ban. They're lying. I mean, and again, I pulled it up from the Wall Street Journal. I pulled it over. I mean, it's just a lie. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to even read you this because, again, I think people say it's a lie and then you go, is it really? Listen to this. Wall Street Journal. President Trump says, by the way, Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch, okay, not exactly the most liberal newspaper. President Trump said Democrats want more than $1 trillion to fund healthcare for unauthorized immigrants. Unauthorized immigrants? Oh God, unauthorized immigrants. We have a new phrase, America. I was a writing major. I speak a lot of languages. People who watch my show regularly know I am not a fan of political correctness when it comes to language. They've literally created a new word for people who are here illegally. First, it was undocumented, which struck me as total BS. Because, I mean, it's not just that you don't have a document, you're here illegally. Come on. But now they're unauthorized immigrants. Unauthorized immigrants is the new term. It's like, okay, whatever. Thank you, Carrie. Democrats want more than $1 trillion to fund healthcare for unauthorized immigrants, Trump says. Is that the case? Wall Street Journal. Democrats are trying to reverse all healthcare policy changes enacted by the Republicans' tax law. Listen to this, including provisions that limited federal funding for immigrant health care, but legal immigrants. Republicans are saying this is for illegals. Legal immigrants. Democrats are seeking more than $1 trillion altogether in healthcare funds, including for the ACA, Obamacare, and Medicaid over 10 years. Our unauthorized immigrants, Wall Street Journal, are unauthorized. Where did they come with this word? I'm sorry, but my problem with this is unauthorized immigrants? That doesn't mean anything in English. That means unauthorized means you're not supposed to be in this room. Where's your badge, right? Unauthorized. I mean, God, this stuff drives me insane. Unauthorized. Oh my God. Anyway, I mean, like they didn't get a hall pass. It's like, okay, whatever. Are unauthorized immigrants eligible for ACA subsidies and Medicaid? Wall Street Journal. Migrants, now they're migrants. Okay, now they're migrants. Migrants in the country illegally are not eligible to enroll in the ACA marketplace. The Republicans' new tax law, signed by Trump in July, revoked eligibility for lawfully present. See, this is the Dickey thing. They took away eligibility for lawfully present immigrants, such as refugees, asylum seekers, and some visa holders. Democrats would like to restore that. That's what's going on. But Republicans don't, but mind you, why don't Republicans just say that? Why don't Republicans say Democrats are trying to restore money for immigrants? They're not Americans. If you got a problem with that, okay, we can talk about it. But for immigrants, no. They're claiming Democrats are trying to give money to illegal immigrants. They're not. That's banned under U.S. law. The money used to go to legal immigrants like refugees and asylum seekers, and the money would go back to them again. But again, the fact that Republicans are lying about it and not admitting, well, basically Republicans don't want money to go to refugees, and they don't want money to go to help, not money, it's called healthcare. They don't want healthcare for asylum seekers and refugees. Okay, then admit it at least, right? Any case, so Trump is also reiterating his threat. One of the things, and again, it's fascist. One of the things Trump is doing today, again, he's threatening that if Democrats, they keep saying Democrats shutting down the government. By the way, the polls show the American people think it's the Republicans shutting down the government by 13 points overall. When you look at independents, 17 points, 17% more of independents think that it's Republicans shutting down the government, not Democrats. Thank you. But Trump has said repeatedly, and he did again today, if the government's shut down, I'm going to fire a bunch of federal workers just to be a jerk, just to hurt people. He's going to fire federal workers. Let me tell you exactly what he said. Hang on, there's a quote here. One sec here. Trump's response to a question about why he would link more federal job cuts to a shutdown was also revealing about his political moves. After asserting that the shutdown would force the government to make layoffs, though the government has traditionally chosen to furlough workers during shutdowns. During a shutdown, you don't have to fire anybody. You furlough them. You say, okay, you're not working. When you come back, you'll be working again. And we'll pass a budget that gives you money for the time, because sometimes people are off work for a month. They can't right before Christmas, right? Trump is saying, oh no, legally I don't have a choice. Well, then he pointed out who would most be affected. They're going to be Democrats. Trump said he's going to fire a ton of federal workers if the government shuts down because most of them he thinks are Democrats. This is fascist. This is, again, this is Soviet. This is communist Chinese. This is not what we do in America. We didn't until now. Governments do not pick and choose which citizens get benefits based on their way they vote. We do not, a Democratic president coming to office in 3 years should not fire everybody in the federal government who happened to vote for a Republican. We should not cut off people from Social Security who voted for Republicans. That's insane. That's the kind of stuff Trump is talking about. He hasn't mentioned Social Security yet. I'm sure he will. During COVID last time, Trump said that the numbers weren't that bad. There were a lot of people dying. Trump said the numbers aren't that bad because those are Democratic states. He literally, you can pull the video. He was in the, the press room of the White House. And I remember him literally going, the numbers aren't that bad of people dying in the COVID cases because they're Democrats. This is sick stuff. This is fascist stuff. I mean, it is not just sick. It's fascist. We need a better word. Maybe we don't need a better word. Maybe we just keep repeating it's fascist. I don't know what else we do, right? But governments do not let their citizens die because they voted for the opposition political party. Governments do not fire federal employees. And Stephen Miller said the same thing. Stephen Miller is the little Ava Braun working for Trump, who said when they shut down USAID, when they shut down all of America's foreign aid program, which killed tons of children in Africa, according even to Republican sources, Stephen Miller said It doesn't matter. 98% of the people working at AID gave money to Democratic campaigns. First of all, he's clearly lying because there's no way in hell 98% of the employees gave money at all, let alone to Democrats. There's no way. Second of all, so you're going to kill children in Africa? Literally, they get infected with AIDS that they weren't going to get because part of the U.S. money was going to AIDS drugs that were stopping children from getting AIDS from their mothers. Okay? That's gone now, and the children are being infected. You're going to infect these children because the aid workers voted for Democrats instead of Republicans, basically, supported Democrats. Again, I don't care if you support Republicans. I mean, I do now that we have Trump being fascist, but generally speaking, it doesn't really matter if you vote for Democrats or Republicans. It doesn't matter if you support Democrats or Republicans. You're allowed to get a job with the federal government. You're allowed to get benefits from the federal government. It doesn't matter because we are not a fascist state. This is what is so dangerous about all of this stuff. I mean, he wants to hurt people based on the way they voted because it means they didn't vote for him. And it means they don't support him. And if that happens, you get hurt. Just like Trump moving the troops into the cities, which we're going to talk about in a second. Trump is now talking about using our troops to learn deadly force in terms of killing people against civilians in our cities. He said that today. Crazy stuff. All right, let's move on to that. So Trump, the generals came to town. Over 800 generals and admirals came to Washington, D.C. They went to Quantico in Virginia, but none of you know where that is. Washington, D.C., we'll say. The Secretary of Defense, Trump's pretty boy from Fox News, ordered all the generals to come to Washington for a very important meeting. Wouldn't tell them what the meeting was about. The meeting was in a sense about nothing. It was also in a sense about fascism. The generals did not have to come. I mean, they had to come, but it was stupid having them come. As somebody said, they should have sent an email. The meeting was dumb. Pete Hegseth, the defense secretary, got up first and gave just a stupid speech, which I'll talk about in a second. I'm going to talk about Trump's first because it's more important. Trump then got up and talked for an hour. He had a written speech. He read his written speech for maybe 10 minutes, maybe 5-10 minutes max. The rest of the hour was Trump being Trump, talking about all sorts of crazy BS. Trump was tired. Trump was fatigued. Trump was speaking slowly. His energy was low. And one thing I noticed, and I forgot, and I just saw Jake Tapper, one of the hosts on CNN, one of the top reporters at CNN, said, he asked this panel, he goes, did you notice his words? They played a clip. He goes, his words were slurring. And the Republican on the panel goes, yeah, I noticed. Trump's words were slurring. I'm glad the media is noticing, but having said that, Jake, I like Jake, but Jake then said, well, let's get back to the substance. The president of the United States was slurring his speech on stage today. It was brought up and then it was dismissed as not substantive, as you know. Let's stop talking about that stuff. We ran a guy out of town named Joe Biden because he was old and he confused things and sometimes didn't speak so well in the last year. Ran him out of town, the media did, because Biden was old and having problems. And the big discussion by Republicans as to whether Biden had dementia, all this kind of crap, right? Trump, for years, has had a problem. I mean, his last term, there were speech problems too with slurring and stuff like that. How they just sit here and have the media say the president gave an address and a 79-year-old man gave a speech and his words were slurred. But let's move on to serious stuff. No problem. So Trump gives the speech, low energy, slurred speech. Jamie Gengel, who's one of the reporters, I think she might be Pentagon, she's kind of an investigative reporter too, at CNN, who's very good, was asked, what did your military sources say about Trump's speech today? She said, my sources said it was incoherent. It was crazy. It was nuts. They've never seen anything like it before. These are words from Pentagon and other national security employees in Washington, D.C. Okay? Incoherent, crazy, nuts. Never seen anything like it. She said they told her, we've also been hearing from U.S. allies across Europe today saying, what the hell was that? Well, we know what the hell that was. She said about Hegseth. Hegseth got up and spoke too, right? Pretty boy, nice hair. Hegseth gets up, Trump's Secretary of Defense. She said, my military sources said his speech was offensive and an embarrassment. It simply does not reflect, again, military sources said about Hegseth today, his speech simply does not reflect how the military works today and shows how little he knows and appreciates about professionalism and military readiness. Basically saying he's in over his head. He knows nothing about the military and he's full of himself. Trump. So Trump rambled for an hour, as I said. I'll tell you about the other bullshit. He talked about the election. He won. Trump said he won in 2020. He talked about the Gulf of America. Did you know the Gulf of Mexico? We're calling it the Gulf of America. The Associated Press, literally, the Associated Press didn't want to call it that, so I sued them. I went to court and I won. He did win so far. He's telling the generals this. He's literally telling the generals. So I wanted to call it that. I thought it was my idea. And AP didn't want to do it. So I sued them and went to court and I won. And now they've got to do it. They don't have to do it. But he's literally talking like this, like, again, a teenage kid. He said the Pakistani prime minister, he claimed, I solved 8 wars in 8 months, have peace because of 8 peace deals. That's a lie. The Pakistani prime minister told me in the Oval Office, he said to me, hold on, I'm going to wipe my camera a little bit. Although whenever I wipe the camera, there we go. That's not bad. The Pakistani prime minister said to me, you, sir, saved millions of lives stopping war between Pakistan and India. The Indians came out and literally denied that Donald Trump stopped the war. They denied it. I know I do need the wig for this. They absolutely denied it. He claimed, again, the Pakistani prime minister said, you saved millions of lives. Then he said, I've got some of these videos. Hold on. I'm going to pull up some of these videos for you. I'm going to go through it and then play you some of the videos. He then said, and I deserve the Nobel Prize. He so wants that Nobel Prize. I mean, he so wants it. I deserved a Nobel Prize, but I'm not going to get it. They're going to give it to some other guy. They're going to give it to some writer or something who doesn't deserve it. And it's really bad. And it's not about me. I don't care about me. Oh, and you're literally going, you are the most insecure narcissist on the planet and you're a fascist wannabe dictator. Of course it's about you. It's not about me. It's about the American people. It's a disservice to America. That's why it bothers me. By the way, there was very little chance Trump was going to get the Nobel Prize before. I do think if he had a chance, if Trump had been able to get, thank you for the gifts, Donna. Keep the gifts coming, guys. Remember, I do this for a living. I appreciate your help. If Trump had basically told Netanyahu and Israel, get your act together. I want peace. Figure out a goddamn deal. Agree, whatever, right? You're going to agree to a deal or else. And he had actually got Israel to agree to a deal, right? A peace deal. And Hamas agreed too. They might not have had a choice but to give him a Nobel Peace Prize. Possibly. They might have had to give all the actors a Nobel Peace Prize to call it. Maybe. Some people might not have liked giving it to Israel either, to be honest, right? But nonetheless, thank you, Queen. That was the outlier possibility I imagined of Trump getting the award was maybe small. Thank you, Louise. Was maybe a small chance if he's able to get Israel to, you shake the head and it does stuff. Thank you. But that's not what Trump did, right? Trump is trying to install a dictatorship in my country. He's has already turned his government into a fascist state. He's threatening, which we're going to talk about in a second. He threatened today again to unleash the military on American citizens. You don't get the Nobel Peace Prize when you're a fascist. You don't. He wants to turn this country into a dictatorship. You don't get the Nobel Peace Prize when you do that. And I mean, I'm glad I'm glad that he's not gonna, but he kind of, in America, we say he screwed the pooch. To screw the pooch means screwing a dog. Screw the pooch means when you just kind of so F up something that you've ruined the entire thing. And he kind of, but it means you kind of ruined something, right? And he screwed the pooch on this one because I think he had a small chance and he decided to just become, dictator light at this point, So let's talk about it. Trump said today that he created a special military force. He signed like a secret order a month ago, creating a special military force that he's going to use to invade our cities. Special military force that he's going to use to not just, by the way, we moved today from crime. He started talking about terrorism again. Remember initially it was, you got a lot of crime, right? A lot of burglaries, robberies, and he was going to help us with that. Now it's all terrorism and domestic enemies. Again, fascism. He's created some secret special military force that he's going to use to invade cities. He said he wants to use I'm paraphrasing here. I've got some tapes I'll play you. He wants to use American cities and civilians to battle train U.S. troops. He said he wants to. We're going to move into the cities and fight crime and all our enemies, and we're going to use that to train our troops. As somebody pointed out on CNN today, our troops are trained to kill. They are military. They are trained to be fighters and killers. How exactly are we training them to do that against civilians in American civilians in American cities? How exactly does that work? Right? He said the reason he's going to move the troops into lots of cities across America, he said, because, and this is a quote, we have a domestic enemy. We have a domestic enemy that needs to be fought. Now, we have moved from fascist language to German World War II language. When you get into domestic enemy, or frankly, his attacks on transgender people, that is World War II German language that is not just fascist language. When you demonize an entire segment of your population like that, or in this case, you have literally said that we have domestic enemies in America, that is German language. He also said, this is maybe a little more fascist, he also said the media, he criticized this, by the way, he's talking to 800 freaking generals here, guys. He criticized the media and said, we do not have good media in America. Thank you, Kim, for that. I appreciate that. And he wants to get rid of our media and get better media and replace them with better media. Bad enough for a president to say, but you're telling U.S. generals as their boss that we need to get rid of the media in this country, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, and put somebody else better in there? Again, this is the 1930s in Germany that we've got in terms of that kind of rhetoric. Incredibly dangerous. Now, the good thing, he also claimed Washington, D.C. is more dangerous than Afghanistan. I mean, he's such a moron. Washington, D.C. is more dangerous than Afghanistan. Washington, D.C. is not more dangerous than Afghanistan. I live in Washington, D.C. In fact, Washington, D.C. is like I forget if it's the 15th most dangerous American city. So there's like 14 cities more dangerous. Thank you, Annie. You get a choice. Are we going Halloween? It certainly fits the discussion. Up to you. Big goat, little goat, Halloween goat. We have our TikTok gifts, our wish list on TikTok that you, if you get any of these things, you get the Halloween goat. We get the Halloween goat. This is the new goat that I love because it's Halloween, but it's like, you'll see. We'll do one more. I love this. Very, very appropriate of the conversation. In fact, thank you, Annie. Appreciate that. I love this. I'm trying to think what else. I want to sort of see what else he had said here. Yeah, he did say something interesting. He said two good things. He's very disappointed in Vladimir Putin. Of course, he's very disappointed in Vladimir Putin because he's Putin's puppy. So of course he's disappointed. Daddy no longer loves him. He's no longer daddy's favorite. So that's been interesting. He also said that basically Medvedev, remember Dmitry Medvedev, who used to be the reformer in Russia 20 years ago, and now he's a crazy lunatic. People think he drinks, and that may be the problem, but he literally was the liberal 20 years ago, 25 years ago. Now he's crazy. He's the one who threatens nuclear war every week against us. Well, he threatened to go to war against us a couple months ago. And Trump got so pissed off. And when Medvedev does it, he does it mockingly. Like he mockingly says, we're going to destroy you. We're going to go to war, and we've got nuclear missiles. And he talks like this. Very bad. Thank you, Gender. Let me know which one you want. That's a goat. That's a goat too. We've got big goat, little goat, and Halloween goat. So let me know. Trump did say today that Medvedev, so he didn't name Medvedev, but everybody knew it was him. So pissed him off. So Gender, you do get to pick which goat. I think it was, wasn't it Gender or was it Lisa? It was Halloween. It was Gender though, right? I'm sort of assuming people want the Halloween goat, but I did not see his or her response. Halloween. Okay, there you are. So actually we should talk over it so we have it's appropriate. So Trump basically insinuated that Medvedev it's like, actually I kind of like that. It's like Frau Blucher. Wonderful movie, by the way. So Medvedev's so pissed Trump off that Trump sent one of our best nuclear submarines off of Russia's coast in order to piss the Russians off. No, I will give him credit for that. That's what you need to do to Russia. That's exactly what you need to do to Russia. So I did think that was very interesting. I mean, again, Trump did something right. Thank God. Edsel sent 3 galaxies. How did I miss that? I missed Edsel sending 3 galaxies. What was I looking at? Sorry, Edsel. What the hell was I looking? When was this? TikTok does not make this easy sometimes. I believe Big Hawk, of course. I didn't even see that. Well, Edsel, you get lots of I did not send 3 galaxies. Big Hawk, what are you talking about? Okay. Why didn't you, Edsel? I'm kidding you. No. I see. Oh, okay. That was Big Hawk trying to goad you into buying 3, Edsel. Okay. Yeah. You're not required to buy 3. Edsel's always been a good supporter. That was Big Hawk trying to say, oh, Edsel wants to buy 3. Okay. That was cute. Yes. Being cute does not always translate in writing, as you guys know. And as you know, because even I screw up sometimes and think you guys are being mean when you're not being that mean. So sorry about that. Okay. Never mind. No, I thought I missed 3 of them. I was like, So, let me just look here because we're not done with this. What is bad about today is that Donald Trump threatened in a very fascist dictatorial way to unleash the US military on American civilians, and he was going to train our military to kill by going after American civilians. That's bad. The good thing is he so pissed off the generals today. I think this was a waste of time for the generals. There was no reason for them to come here. Nothing happened. Trump said nothing. Trump said absolutely nothing today. Okay. Absolutely nothing. There was no reason for them to come to hear Trump. Hegseth called them fat and said they've got to exercise every day. He's requiring them to exercise every day now, which I was like, oh, can you imagine? I mean, again, this is like my boss at the UN, as far as like heavy-handed, obnoxious, in over your head, doesn't know what they're doing. He literally ordered them and said, everyone in the Pentagon has to do PT, what are they called? Physical training once a day now. It's being required. I was like, thank you, user 123. Appreciate that. Very cool gift. The 2 of them, I think, so pissed off the generals because just by bringing them there, they wasted their time. You don't waste a general's time, and you really don't waste their time dragging their ass halfway. These generals weren't in the US. Some of them were. These were the generals from all over the world from ships, from submarines all over the world. They made them come. It's not physical therapy. It's physical training. They made them come here from all over the world so that Trump could riff for an hour about bullshit, and so that Hegseth could tell them they're fat. Thank you, Tina. The reason this is good is at this point, the generals are pissed off. They're pissed off at Trump. They're pissed off at Hegseth. They're watching Hegseth not know what the hell he's talking about. They're watching Trump be insane and fascist. And basically, by the time Trump gets to his point where he's telling the generals, and we're going to put troops in American cities to go after the domestic enemy. At this point, you have not, thank you for that, Dave. At this point, you have not buttered up your audience. You have not, you do not have the generals eating out of your hand. Thank you, Anna. You got the generals pissed off at this point, right? At the point that you bring up the fascism, you've already pissed them off. They're angry about being there. So in other words, my point is they're as least receptive to your fascism as they could be because they think you're an idiot at this point, and they're pissed off that you dragged their ass there just to show that you could. That's great. That's absolutely great. Thank you, Steve. That gets you a Trump wig. One second here. Where's my wig? Here's my wig. So that's the good news. I mean, that is the good news. The good news is I think he pissed everybody off. There's our Trump wig for the day. The good news is he pissed everybody off, and it might make them less amenable to do what he wants in terms of the fascism. It could have been an email, Lauren. Yeah, absolutely. Let me see here. Oh, Hegseth. So Hegseth gets up there. Hegseth, CNN had this 4 points: pushed a vision to reshape the military, vowed to end diversity efforts. Oh God, he's such an asshole. Oh, thank you, Steve. That's a very nice gift, Steve. Thank you for that. I mean, it's a very cool gift, but I know it's a very nice one too. So thank you for that. That was very nice of you. Edsel. Oh, I have to sing happy birthday for the motorcycle, don't I? I forgot about that. The motorcycle's a birthday gift, isn't it? Yeah. Is it anybody's birthday, or did you just happen to buy it anyway? Is it somebody's birthday in particular? Just checking before I sing. Otherwise, we'll sing anyway. Just sing. Anybody's birthday? It could be yours, could be somebody's. Well, it's Kim's birthday. Was it somebody else's? No, we've had birthday once before. Steve says it's mine. Well, we got Kim and Steve. Who else? And Sweet. Well, you're giving me too many names here. I'm forgetting who bought it. Wasn't it somebody named Ed who bought it? Silly. A bunch of you have it. You've got too many names here. Tom. Who we got? Silly, Tom, Max. All right, we'll go with Silly, Tom, Max, Alyssa. Okay, we can't do too many more of this. This is turning into Romper Room. Jed. Although the thing is, there are so many birthdays. There's only 365 birthdays a year, right? We've got 1,300 people. That means in principle, there could be 3 or 4 birthdays today, right? All right, we'll do happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jed, Alyssa, Max, Silly, Tom, and nephew. Happy birthday to you. There we go. Thank you for the gift. Appreciate that. And the Trump hair comes off because it does get warm after a while. That's actually more birthdays than usual. But as I said, we'd probably have at least 4 birthdays just by random chance. You're very welcome. By random chance, we'd have 4 birthdays anyway, and many more. So Hegseth, listen to this. I was going to give you the best part. Hegseth said, he called the generals fat. Literally, he goes, I look around, there's too many fat people, including in this room today, among your core. It's like, well, I mean, again, that's going to go over well. He said that too many promotions to generals before were done for diversity and DEI. In other words, he accused the black generals, the women, the Asians of being unqualified. Again, like these people are unbelievable. What was the? Oh, when he vowed to end diversity programs. When he vowed to end diversity programs, Hegseth said, quote, "No more dudes in dresses." I missed that part because I missed the Hegseth stuff in the morning. I got up in time, just in time to watch the Trump stuff. Not got up. I didn't have the TV on because I forgot it was that early. Hegseth literally said he's going to end diversity programs, quote unquote, "no more dudes in dresses." It is bigoted. It is disrespectful. It's also incredibly, I did see that, by the way. Thank you for the gift. Was that Tracy? It's also incredibly childish. The Secretary of Defense shouldn't say dude, right? You're not 12. He thinks you're not in a fraternity. You know what I mean? And this is part of the problem with Hegseth. He thinks he's a cool dude. And you're saying, by the way, you've got almost every U.S. general in the world in the room with you, and you're saying things like dudes, like you're with the cool people. These guys must think of him that he's such a piece of bleh. I mean, they have to think that of him. It just, so what else we got here? Oh, actually, yeah, I wanted to pull you a couple of the Trump quotes. I've got some of the Trump quotes on my phone. Let me pull this up. I've got, there's a number of them. I sort of had highlighted the ones that I think are more telling or whatever. I've got little, 1 second here. I favorited them so they're a little more obvious. Here we go.
Last month, I signed an executive order to provide training for a quick reaction force that can help quell civil disturbances. This is going to be a big thing for the people in this room because it's the enemy from within, and we have to handle it before it gets out of control. It won't get out of control. Once you're involved at all, they all joke. They say, "Oh, this is not good," and we haven't even started yet.
Yeah.
Last month,
he signed an order. And again, just in case anybody's confused, this isn't a police force. He said, by the way, and he sounds like he's sedated or sick, right? This isn't a police force. He said, this is going to be done by everybody in this room. He said that it was going to be the generals in charge of this police force that's going to go into the cities and attack the enemy within. This is as fascist as it gets. Absolutely, absolutely un-American. Let's hope the generals heard this and said, this is what I'm saying. I did not exaggerate when I told you what this loser said.
Very important mission. And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous cities as training grounds for our military, National Guard, but military. Because we're going into Chicago very soon. That's a big city with an incompetent governor, stupid governor, stupid. They threw him out of his family business. He was so stupid. I know the family. He becomes governor. He's got money. Not money that he made, but he ran for governor, he won, and now he criticizes us all the time. And last week they had 11 people murdered, 44 people shot. The week before that they had 5 people murdered, 28 people shot.
I mean, I didn't even get into the partisan stuff. He repeatedly attacked Democrats, called them un-American. He attacked Biden and Obama. Mind you, Biden and Obama are the previous commander-in-chief of the military. He attacked Biden and Obama repeatedly, and said they were incompetent. By the way, he absolutely sounds like there's something wrong with him. That's what I'm saying. I was watching it going, what is wrong with this guy? It sounds like something happened a couple of weeks ago, to be honest. We were all wondering if something happened a couple of weeks ago when he disappeared for a week and then came out and it was just, he sounds horrible again. Oh, well, thank you for the galaxy. That's another goat. Who got a fur baby? Which goat would you like? So we're coming back to the clips in a second. Fur baby, pick a goat. Halloween. I do love the Halloween goat. And one more for Trump. Thank you for a baby. Appreciate that. Is this? That's the one I had. All right, next one. Next one.
The ones that are run by the radical left Democrats, what they've done to San Francisco, Chicago, New York, Los Angeles. They're very unsafe places, and we're going to straighten them out one by one. And this is going to be a major part for some of the people in this room. That's a war, too. It's a war from within. Controlling the physical territory of our border is essential to national security. We the ones that are run by the radical left.
Again, he's only going to go after cities. A lot of the Republican cities have worse crime. He's only going to invade cities with elected leaders who are Democrats. Again, this is like the COVID stuff when he said our COVID death numbers weren't bad because it's only Democrats. Okay. He's going to invade cities that elect Democrats with American troops to go after our enemies, according to him.
Very proud of it. So if this works out, we'll have eight in 8 months. That's pretty good.
The wars he
Nobody's ever
fixed.
done that. Will you get the Nobel Prize? Absolutely not. They'll give it to some guy that didn't do a damn thing. They'll give it to a guy that wrote a book about the mind of Donald Trump and what it took to solve the wars. And he'll get the Nobel Prize will go to a writer. No, but well, let's see what happens. But it's be a big insult to our country. I will tell you that. I don't want it. I want the country to get it. But it should get it because there's never been anything like it. Think of it. So if they,
That's my favorite. That was it for the pigs. I don't want it. I don't care. It's for the country. It's not for me. It's like, sure, dude. Let me see here. If there's, let me see. Wait, 29, 46, 25, 37. Oh, I've got more.
Service members are following in a great and storied military tradition, from protecting
I'm not sure what this
frontier
is.
communities to chasing outlaws and bandits in the Wild West. And our history is filled with military heroes who took on all enemies, foreign and domestic. You know that phrase very well. That's what the oath says, foreign and domestic. Well, we also have domestic. George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Grover Cleveland, George Bush, and others all use the armed forces to keep domestic order and peace. Many of our leaders used the military to
lying.
keep peace. Now they like to say, oh, you're not allowed to use the
He's
military.
lying.
And you know what the people say? The people in those cities where they're being raped and shot.
All right, let's make something clear here. George Washington was the Revolutionary War. George Bush, I was here in Washington when George Bush used the U.S. military to patrol our streets. You know why he used the military to patrol our streets? Somebody just blew up the Pentagon with an airplane. And we were afraid that they were blowing up the Congress, the White House, and the State Department. That day, I was here. We were told there was a bomb at the State Department that went off. A bomb went off on the mall. The other plane was going to get to Congress. Another plane was coming for the White House. That's why we had National Guard on the U.S. streets. He's comparing, these mythical Antifa protesters to ICE, to Al-Qaeda. Well, George Bush had them on the streets. Yeah, because Al-Qaeda just blew up the Pentagon with an airplane. We had men on the streets because we thought we were under literal attack. I mean, the sickness of this, the absolute sickness of this. It was National Guard, correct. Although, is National Guard not military? I ask you.
We haven't started yet. Last month I signed an executive order.
Oh, that's the same one.
To provide a very important mission. And I told Pete, we should use some of these dangerous.
That's the same one.
The ones that are run by the radical left.
Same one. Hold on.
Very proud of it. So if this works out, we'll have 8.
That's the 8. Sorry.
And we stopped it. It was a great thing. And the Prime Minister of Pakistan was here, along with the Field Marshal, who's a very important guy in Pakistan. And he was here 3 days ago.
Say, sir.
And I didn't even realize it as beautifully as he said it, but he said that to a group of people that were with us, 2 generals, but a group. He said, this man saved millions of lives because he saved the war from going on. And that war was going to get very bad.
The war.
Very, very bad. President Trump saved millions and millions of lives. That was a bad war.
It was not a bad war. This was India and Pakistan. As I recall, Pakistan, there was something bad blew up in India, And then the Indians like flew across the border and blew something up in Pakistan. And the Pakistanis may or may not have responded. That was pretty much it. He's talking about that thing between India and Pakistan. Now, it was the risk of turning something bigger, of course, but it was not, oh, it was a really bad war. Risk of millions dying. It was not a bad war. It was a danger turning into something, but they had done tit for, it was exactly, it was a 24, as Dawn just said, it was a 24-hour skirmish. There was a tit for tat, and we were kind of hoping it wasn't going to go farther. Wow. And oh, wow, this is really cool today. Well, because the sunset is almost, you guys, I don't know if you can totally see it. I'm going to see if I can take a picture. I have to get a picture out the door. This is like a really, wow. Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, I don't know that you can appreciate how cool the sunset is right now. Oh my God. It's, well, because the clouds are doing like a whole weird, you guys can see to a degree. The clouds are doing this whole like weird thing. Oh my God. It's so cool. Actually, this was the view when you got onto my balcony. That's what I mean. Like, it's really cool what the clouds are doing. Oh wow. And you got to see, because there's actually like the fingers coming of the shade there. You know what I mean? Wow, that's really cool. And a red sky at night. Yeah, I just noticed it. I was like, is that my bell? We've been getting crazy. I know I'm totally squirreling, but we do this with the sunset. Whenever the sunset goes crazy, we take a break and we check it out. Now more than ever, we appreciate our sunsets. So, but yeah, no, I like, oh wow. But also the clouds are doing, there's like a really cool, you can't really see, unfortunately. There's a really cool, oops. The clouds are doing a really cool thing in back too. That's really neat. We'll do one last little zoom in on the clouds back there. Yeah, just to give you a quick, just because I think they're, I don't know that you can tell from the picture, but they just look really cool. You'd have to kind of see, but they're super defined and they're really cool looking. The clouds that are back there for TikTok, the ones that are back there. Yeah, they're really neat. Anyway, very exciting. I know with my lighting, well, the nice part is with my lighting, it always ends up being kind of a nice, yeah, see, it's like the whole sky is doing the thing. With my lighting, it always ends up being kind of a nice with the sunsets, because it ends up complementing the lighting, which is always kind of fun. So, we were doing that. Yeah. So the Trump videos are over. Yeah, bad stuff, guys. I mean, crazy bad stuff. All right, hang on here. What else we got? Hang on a second here. Oh yeah, Trump is shutting down. Oh, Hegseth is also reforming the Inspector General's office, because they've gotten off whatever. The Inspector General's office is an independent office at all the federal agencies that basically makes sure the federal agency is doing its job. And they're investigating Hegseth for the Signal thing, that Signal scandal, when they used the app on the phone for communicating, they shouldn't have. He's under investigation. And he said he's going to gut them and change them because their mission is wrong. Yeah. I mean, again, the corruption of these people is unbelievable. They're also shutting down. Wait, where was I put my notes over here. They're also shutting down. Hang on a second. Trump is threatening to cut the federal jobs we know. Wait, where was oops. Oh yeah, here we go. The White House last week, according to the New York Times, informed a federal office charged with conducting oversight of the Trump administration that it was blocking congressionally approved money for its operations. There's a congressionally approved office that oversees the inspectors general. They keep the government honest. The money is appropriated by Congress. Trump isn't going to give it to the agency, and they're shutting it down tonight. It is an anti-corruption agency to make sure Trump doesn't commit crimes and break the law. He's shutting it down tonight. Illegally, mind you, and the Supreme Court, which is run by Trump people, is going, the MAGA Supreme Court is going to allow it, I'm sure. Really sick. Really sick. Let I'm just looking here. Yeah. Oh, the ICE agent. Remember we talked the other day about the ICE agent? I showed you the video of the ICE agent that basically assaulted this woman, this mother whose husband was taken in by ICE, basically from Ecuador. He might have been illegal. Who knows? I mean, I assume he was. And the mother, the wife, she's a wife and they're with her 2 kids, was very upset. She was very upset that if her husband got sent back to Ecuador, he would die. I'm guessing, again, political, this kind of stuff, right? And she's crying, going, "You don't understand. He's going to die. He's going to die." And the agent got so pissed at her that he grabbed her, threw her against a wall, and threw her on the ground in front of, it was right outside an immigration hearing, right? In front of like 12 reporters. And here's the tape. This is from CBS News, local CBS News in New York, doing the translation.
They're going to kill him, a woman pleads in Spanish to a plainclothes officer. Then he pushes her to the ground and stands over her as the cries of her 2 children echo through the hall.
Those are her little girl goes, let me show you again. Her little girl goes running up to try to help mom.
Then he pushes her to the ground and stands over her as the cries of her 2 children echo through the hall.
So,
They're going to kill him.
Department of Homeland Security, in charge of ICE and all these guys, put out a statement 3 days ago. This is unprofessional behavior that does not comport with the professionalism we expect of our employees. He's suspended pending investigation. 3 days later, they put him back on the job. You know what happened. And I knew this was going to happen. As soon as Big Guy found out that the guy manhandled a woman and got suspended for it, didn't manhandle, he assaulted her. He put him back on the job. He put him back on the job because this agent used physical violence, unnecessary physical violence against an innocent woman. That's why he got his job back. Again, it's the fascism. This is all about the fascism. Trump today also, again, fascism. Trump today threatened to cut off all, illegally, by the way, cut off all federal funds for New York. If Zoran Mamdani wins the mayoral race, which is not too long, I think 6 weeks from now, maybe 2 months from now, max. Trump isn't, because Mamdani is like a socialist or whatever he is, far left. Trump is upset. So Trump said if he wins, he's no longer going to give New York any federal money. That's illegal. Again, it's also fascist. But this is what Trump does. He during his first term, there were horrible wildfires in California, as you know. And Trump, during the wildfires, said he wasn't going to give any of the federal emergency money to California because they voted Democrat. And his staff had to pull out the books and show Trump, actually, there's a lot of Republican voters in California, and that's the only reason Trump allowed the federal emergency money to go to California. He wasn't going to put it there because they're Democrats. This man is a fascist. People knew this when they voted for him. They voted for him anyway. I mean, you don't do this. You don't do this in a democracy and then turn around and say, oh, political violence is bad. That's what this is. This is political violence in every way, shape, and form. Every way, shape, and form. Google it, by the way. I see our trolls are here again today. Remember, whenever I tell you this stuff, Google it. Google Trump, California wildfires threatening to cut off money. And you will find the story about his staff having to prove to him that there were Republicans in California so that he turned the money back on. Sickening stuff. Trump is starting now this is actually interesting what he's doing. Thank you, Rosie. This is interesting. I'm suspicious knowing Trump, but this actually sounds like a good thing. So I'm kind of suspicious what he's up to. The White House announced a direct-to-consumer website for Americans to buy prescription drugs at a discount. The government website would allow people to buy drugs at a discounted price negotiated by the government with cash. It wasn't clear if the website would be useful for the majority of Americans that are already covered by private insurance, Medicare, or Medicaid. So it's not clear how it works. It seems to be people who don't have insurance or something, or if you have insurance and it's not good enough, that you can use it. The dog wants a quick drip of water. That you can use it to buy prescription drugs. Right, dog. Bad timing. Bad timing. There we go. TikTok hates it when you step away from the camera. That you can use it to buy prescription drugs. Get this. The website is going to be named Trump RX. He named the website after himself. Named the website after himself. Yeah, of course he did. The Mormon church shooter. Oh, so big news, big surprise here. Hold on to your hats. The Mormon church shooter. Remember the guy who shot up the Mormon church on Sunday? Killed at least 4 people. Shoot, I'm forgetting. The injured were like 8, I believe. Killed 4. And actually, I killed at least 4. He may have killed more because he set a fire as well. So he killed people with bullets and then set a fire to the church. He was a right-wing Republican. Interesting because a lot of Republicans immediately tried to claim he was a Democrat. Somebody tried to claim, Laura Loomer tried to claim it was trans people again, of course, or somehow related to trans people. And he ended up being a right-wing Republican, Trump supporter. BBC actually verified this. New York Times did as well. There's a photo of him wearing a Trump 2020 t-shirt. And didn't I show you? I did the video for this. Actually, I want to see if I can pull the picture up. There's a picture of him wearing a Trump 2020 t-shirt. And hang on. Oops. Back to pictures again. Pictures. All right. Here we go. So this is first the BBC post saying, because the Republicans were saying it's false. They said it's not false. This is the BBC fact checker. He said the claim that the picture of the Michigan church shooting suspect Thomas Jacob Sanford wearing a pro-Trump shirt is photoshopped is false. You can find the photo on his mother's Facebook page. Well, the picture shows Donald Trump. It says 2020, and on the bottom it says "Make liberals cry again." You can see. That's swell. Now, I will say, just because the mass shooter is a right-wing Republican doesn't mean MAGA's responsible, because I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to say those kind of things. But, oh boy, we just spent the last 3 weeks blaming Democrats for Charlie Kirk when all we know is some guy who seems to be, well, some guy who was a Republican, actually, the Charlie Kirk shooter was. His family said he started moving to the left because he became more pro-trans and pro-gay, which isn't really moving to the left. That's the only proof the mother had of him moving to the left, was he became more pro-trans and pro-gay in the last year. But they all decided that he was a Democrat without any proof that he was a Democrat, and blamed all Democrats for all violence in America, even though most violence, overwhelming amount of violence, political violence in America is done by the extreme right, by studies from ADL, CSIS, Cato, every study that's out there. So I don't care that the mass shooter is clearly a Trump supporter and extreme right. According to his friends, he's extreme right Republican. But it seems like a lot of these people do. Let's see what the dog is doing before she eats stuff on me. But a lot of these guys seem to care. That's it. Yep, that's it. The news went long. God, the news went really long today. Well, we knew the news was going to go long today because we had all the Trump stuff. Crazy freaking day. Oh, school shootings. I know nobody, I mean, you know. But it is true. Like the Mormon thing happened. They're not talking about it anymore. I mean, this is the sad part. The Charlie Kirk thing, was important to them, but also some people took advantage of it. Like Trump and his people. The Mormon thing is typical. Nobody in this country, not nobody, half the country cares. Half the country doesn't care when we have mass shootings. We have these things every day. We even had them. We had 3 mass shootings within 24 hours on the Mormon one. 3 different mass shootings. Nobody cares. I mean, it happens. The Mormon story is gone today. Literally, it was gone. It wasn't on the news at all. Nobody cares. It's like this stuff is normal here, But oh well. The news is very heavy today. Yes, I'm sorry for that. 6. It could have been more. It easily could have been more. Oh man. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was a horrible attack. The fire was, I mean, everything about it. You just don't attack people you don't attack people anyway. You don't attack people in church and open fire and set. I mean, the whole thing's crazy. His girlfriend was Mormon years ago, and it was a bad breakup, and he hates Mormons. And it was like, okay, you're again, a lot of these people are mentally ill. Clearly, I think it takes a mental illness to do anything like that. Random Mormon churches. That's just effed up. Anyway, yeah. So let's do another minute or two with it. We'll go because it's already been an hour and 15. Sorry. Although, well, the news was long tonight necessarily. So 100% of them are men. That's a good point, Miri. I don't think there's been a female mass shooter that we're aware of. I mean, there may have been one at some point, but you're right. They're men. They're almost always white. We know overwhelmingly they're right wing. That's about it. Yeah. The midterms, God only knows. Somebody asked about the midterm elections, the congressional elections. The problem is the American people seem to be okay with fascism. So I have no idea. I mean, right? And frankly, the far left was, in the Democratic Party was not even just the far left, well, Democrats are old. Oh, I'm sorry. You could vote for an old guy or a fascist who's dismantling our democracy and wants to put the military in the cities to shoot civilians. Is this really a hard choice? But apparently for a lot of Americans, it is a hard choice. So who knows? Anyway. Oh, exactly, Mike. Oh, excuse me. Oh, thank you, US Free again. Appreciate that. So yes, the show is every Monday to Friday, 6:00 Eastern time, US. I very much appreciate your gifts because this is what I do for a living. So thank you. And yeah, the government shuts down tonight. Republicans are going to try to blame Democrats. Republicans control the government. It's not Democrats. And what Democrats are trying to do is get the money Republicans cut to Medicaid, especially, at least some of it returned. Thank you, Big Pink. Thank you, Inappropriate. At least get some of that money returned. And mind you, and again, Democrats, they've been trying to talk about it. They're just not as good as Republicans at this. Thank you, Shane. Thank you, Consuela. But Republicans control the entire government. They control the House. They control the Senate. They control the White House. They control the Supreme Court. They decide if something's going to pass. And Donald Trump, by the way, said, White House did a couple things. First of all, the White House refused to negotiate with Democrats. And didn't they say something like, you can just F off? I believe the White House literally put out that quote. Democrats can F off if they think they're going to negotiate with the, oh, there we go. Woo woo. They're going to negotiate with the president, right? Thank you, CC. Trump himself came out, 1 second, Sky Queen. Trump himself came out and said, I won the election. He wrote this whole thing. I won the election. I don't have to negotiate. I do whatever I want. No, fascist. That's what they do in Germany and Russia and China. Well, Germany, old Germany, Russia and China, old Russia and new Russia. That's not what we do in America. You don't get to not negotiate because you won the election and they're Democrats. Thank you, Angeline. Sky Queen is a very generous question. Will we learn how the commanders think about the meeting? Will any talk about it? They cannot, they legally can't talk about it, so to speak. That would be inappropriate, right? So that they're not going to do. But the, oops, now I'm kind of curious here. Oh, shit. Stop it. What are you doing? Hold on. Doop. One moment here. So the commanders cannot, because the commanders can't really speak out about the commander-in-chief, right? The generals, right? They really can't do that. So that's not a good idea. Oh, okay. Why is the channel suddenly showing up? I don't know. Why is this channel suddenly showing up? I don't know, Korean person. It just is. The Korean, don't delete the Korean person. It just says, why is this channel suddenly showing up? I don't know, but welcome to America. So, yeah, shutdowns are a disaster. It's very bad. It kills scientific research. It does all sorts of really bad stuff. But no, the commanders will be asked about it. Yeah, I translate. It's, I mean, yeah. I mean, anyway, hello, welcome. Actually, I know this. Is it 안녕하세요? I think the only Korean I know. I learned it when I was a kid, and it means like hello or greetings. 안녕하세요. And I'm sure I'm saying it poorly, but welcome. Anyway, I know, how do you get a med bed? That's what we all want to know. And Bad Bunny, I wasn't really familiar with Bad Bunny. You know, he's cute. I'll say that. Was that good enough? Yeah. Oh, thank you, Bren, for the gift. Appreciate that. Mary as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Mary. All right. I know, we're with you. The Korean is saying remove Trump. That's very cute. That's very funny. That's cracking me up. Anyway, but yeah, Bad Bunny is apparently a huge deal. I just wasn't familiar with him, so I'm old. No, I'm kidding, but I just was not familiar with him. But he is very cute. So anyway, I know. All right, guys, we're gonna sign off. Thank you for joining us. The show usually goes for an hour and 15. I'll be back tomorrow night, 6:00 Eastern, Monday to Friday. And then Saturday, we do a special show for the subscribers. If you want to subscribe, thank you. That's very nice of you. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow night. I'm not blushing. No, this is just the lighting is getting more red. I can adjust the lighting. Although actually, it's not really there. Oh, see, it gets red when I do that. Yeah, see, if I do that, it's a little less. It's white. The problem is, it's okay here, but it's kind of white on YouTube. That's why I like to go. Oops, I was hitting the wrong light. I like to go a little red because YouTube gets a little too, it makes me look like I'm like washed out. Anyway, all right, guys, have a good night, everybody. Thank you, mods. Thank you, gifts from everybody. Appreciate it. Good to see you, everybody. And Korean person, good to see you. Have a good night, or good morning in Korea, I should say. And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you. Boom. All right.